What is going on, everybody? How we doing today? As usual, hope we're doing well. It is a Wednesday, so we're doing our usual chill stream. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm a little bit tired today, so I apologize if I seem a little slow or off. Um, excuse me. There's a new camera angle, as you can see, and I kind of like this angle. I'm not gonna lie. My monitor, my monitor itself is not broken, right? But I have a monitor that requires an adapter. I forget where I fucking put that. Oh yeah. I have a monitor that requires an adapter, right? And the adapter broke. Luckily, I think the port that I plugged the adapter into is still good. I would have cried if that was the case, but yeah, I had to order another one of these. So yeah, I have two monitors, right? One of them's a big monitor. That's why usually my camera angle is up higher, and then the small monitor is to my left. That's where I keep an eye on everything, and so I had to use the small monitor. But anyway, anywho, yeah, I definitely like this camera angle better. I got to find a way to make this camera angle a little bit more available to me. Because sometimes like I'll literally be like here, like, hey guys, how we doing? Here's the bottom, here's the bottom. But what is going on? Michael Walker's, what's going on? Zach, what is going on? Dylan Hart, what is going on? Smart Moron, how we doing today? Oh, excuse me, jeez. Um, Yo, let's go, says Michael Walkers. Hell yeah. What is up, my fellow Sullivaniacs? What's going on, Mr. Hart? Uh, have you seen the Will Stancil memes? I'm vaguely familiar. I am vaguely familiar, but I could not tell you for the life of me where they come from exactly. Is it like, was Will Stancil himself featured in some kind of like lefty cartoon or something like that? Is that what happened? Because I have no clue exactly where they come from, but I know there's like it do be like that, Mr. Stancil or something like that. That's one thing. That's one of the more nauseating things that the left wing has done. Is it's co-opted black speak Ebonics. Ebonics is not a good thing. It's never been a good thing. There's never been a time where people have looked at Ebonics as anything like positive at all. I don't even think the black community really looks at it. It's either they don't think about it, maybe, or but then again, I don't know. You see, we're getting into a topic that it's actually surprisingly more complicated than you might expect. But yeah, I mean, regardless, like I can't stand the New York liberal who says like y'all wrong for that. That's one of the worst things Twitter has done. That is 1,000,000% one of the worst things Twitter has done to the world, specifically like with leftists and stuff like that. Is you take left wingers who would never under any circumstances hang out in an area or talk to people who are like black. They would never hang out in a black area under any circumstances. It gave them the ability to kind of peer into what the black community is like, at least online. And because of that, they were like, ah, wow, they say y'all. Oh, y'all wrong for that. Wow, they're like a bunch of fucking clowns. Isn't that funny? Wow, black people, they're like a bunch of clowns. I'm gonna start talking like that, ironically. Oh, sweet summer child, y'all, it do be like that. Like, I can't stand that shit. I'm not someone who simps for the black community, but I like to believe that everybody has a certain dignity that they have access to, even if they don't live it in the moment or in general, right? And you can always decide you want to become dignified in that way. Me, I straddle the line where I want to try and be as dignified as I can, but also I got a bit of a temper and a bit of a sailor's mouth and stuff like that. But regardless, like there's a certain thing I won't do. There's certain levels that I don't want to stoop to. And I think the black community has that too, where like there's a certain dignity that black people should have and should feel about themselves and the world and stuff like that. And like if I was black and I saw somebody who was like talking like that, I wouldn't be like cultural appropriation, colonizer, da, 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 da. I wouldn't be like that. I'd just be like, yo, fucking stop that, dude. Fucking knock that shit off. It's like the flip side of the coin of the like Dave Chappelle black comedian pretending to be a white person thing, where it's like, okay, it's a comedy show, I can at least laugh at it a little bit. But if people unironically started talking like that, like if black people started unironically being like, why hello there, golly gee, sure is a nice day out today, isn't it? Like if they unironically started talking like that, I'd be like, dude, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? You know? I think Will Stancil is a cringy liberal, and the AI cartoon is made by an alt right woman to make fun of him. Yo, that's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. Where if anybody watching right now, all like four of you, if anybody watching has a link, or if they can like tag me in that on Twitter, I definitely want to watch that because that does sound pretty funny. Um, but yeah, so it's a chill stream. I don't have anything too crazy in mind. Maybe we'll play some video games or something like that. It's just gonna be a pain in the ass because I can't monitor the chat and do something at the same time. I have to have the chat pulled up on this one monitor. You know, if I was gonna play AOE, I guess I'd use like my phone. I'd like put it up against my monitor, which gets in the way. But like I don't know, maybe we'll figure it out. We'll see where the night takes us. We'll see where the wind blows. Is what we'll do, where we will go. Um, I have a couple of ideas for streams that I've been working on. I gotta follow up with them. I don't know if it's gonna happen tomorrow, but I was supposed to stream with Arie tomorrow. We haven't talked about it since last week, so like I said, I gotta follow up on him. Confirm if everything's gonna be good. It's gonna be on his stream though. I don't know. Maybe I'll stream. A frustrating thing. It's not like frustrating. It's just like when I realized that people do this, I was like, oh, okay, huh? That's weird to me. That's a little weird to me. People who have like platforms where they might stream to a channel or something like that. They stream at the same time you're streaming with them, and what I mean is like you'll have them on your stream, like Turkey Tom did this, Goon did this, and I wasn't mad at them for doing this. It was just like I was blindsided by the idea. I never considered it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, huh, all right, whatever. I had them on my channel for a couple of streams. One of them was a one of the boyfriend challenge things, and then the other one was a Jeopardy one that I had Goon on. And they were streaming to their own audience while they were on my stream, and it's like, oh, okay, all right, huh. That's a little strange to me. If I'm gonna stream with somebody, I like the idea of just going to their channel, but I don't know. Maybe I should just start doing that. Not that it matters anyway. I get no views like anyway. So what does it fucking matter? But regardless, I might be streaming with RA tomorrow. It'll be on his channel most likely, unless I decide I'm gonna do it on my channel too. But either way. On Friday, I have a debate stream. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I feel like it might be a bit of a shit show, which that's kind of the point. Like, if I ever do a debate, it's typically not going to be meant to be like that serious. But I do have a special guest for that. I'm kind of keeping who it is under my hat. It's no one like you're not going to be like, whoa, he got this person. But it's nice to kind of keep that under my hat a little bit. And then Saturday, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to be able to do this. I might, but I might not. I was thinking about trying to pull together the Jeopardy stream that did not happen last Saturday because I was in Salem, Mass until like really late. The reason why it might not happen this Saturday is because I have a competition on Sunday where I'm going to have to get up early, and I kind of think it would be like I want to stream. I'm going to stream on Saturday, but like having to put effort into something that I'm gonna have to do on Saturday. I don't know if I have that in me. I think I just want to kind of relax, chill, and enjoy myself before I have to go and fight somebody that I don't know. I got word that there is potentially going to be 3 people, including me, in my bracket. Which like that's not a crazy tournament or anything like that, but the fact that it's like a fist fight. It's not a jiu-jitsu tournament that I'm doing. We're doing Sanda, and then one of them might not even show up, so it might be a 2-man bracket, including me. And the reason why is because this dude is from Pakistan. Apparently, there is a dude from Pakistan who is trying to get into the U.S. so he can take part in this tournament. This is my first time at this tournament. So I have no clue what to expect. Although I do kind of expect that I will be able to outclass at least one of them, but I don't want to talk too much shit about, oh dude, I think I'm gonna be the best one there, you know. I wanted to just get my feet wet again and see how I feel having to fight somebody that I don't know, that doesn't really care about me like that, you know, and see how I felt, and see if I can do my thing in the future. But yeah, so that's what's going on. I also I'm doing Shuai Jiao, and I'm doing dagger fighting. They have these, like, they aren't even like this is, I made this for Blood Games. It was originally all black and I painted it. I'm really even though all I did was fucking arts and crafts, I just painted this. I'm really proud of, like, the regal sort of, like, coloring. I really like how this came out, so I'm proud of it. But like, they don't even look like this. It's like literally like almost like a rolled up magazine is what it looks like. What I'm gonna be using for the dagger fighting. That's like really weird to me, but whatever. Anywho, anywho, um, YouTube shadow banned my chat that said triggers with a W. Oh boy, I'm not surprised. I didn't even get to see it. I didn't even get to see it on Streamlabs, Dylan Hart. That is really annoying and really weird. Like, I understand YouTube giving you the ability and the choice to shadow ban words and stuff like that. I actually have some words shadow banned, and I'm obviously not going to tell you. It's more personal words and personal things and stuff like that, you know. Um, excuse me. Um, I don't want you guys, teasing me about my dick size, you know, typing the number 3 in chat all day, so the number 3 is banned. Um, no, but like, um, that is like the most annoying thing about YouTube. Well, actually, there's far worse things about YouTube, honestly. But one of the most annoying things on a day-to-day basis with YouTube, from both sides, whether you're a creator or a consumer of created content, is that, like, if you type a certain word, it is auto banned. And a lot of the time it's just like words that by today's standard is innocuous, you know, like fuck. Like, if you type certain swear words and stuff like that, it won't go through, you know. And at the very least, with Streamlabs, it would show you whatever YouTube tried to shadow ban. But I didn't even get to see that on YouTube. Jeez, I didn't even get to see that on Streamlabs. I have Streamlabs pulled up in front of me right now, and I simply cannot see it. It's so annoying. But Gon versus Aspinall, two of the more athletic heavyweights in the pound for pound worst division. Yeah, you see, like, I'll be honest with you, I don't know that much about Aspinall. I do know that people say he's a beast. When it comes to Cyril Gahn, I gotta be honest with you. There's just something about him where I just kind of knew, or I know, that he's never really going to be a champion like that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, to make it to the UFC and then to make it past that filter of, like, dudes that go 0 and 2 and they get kicked back to the regional scene or something like that. That's a really, really good thing. Regardless of how high of a peak Cyril Gahn is going to reach, he is a star. So, like, good for him. But you kind of just know, looking at Cyril Gahn, that he's not going to be like, he's just not going to be that guy, you know. If he beats Aspinall, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to assume it's a fluke. You know, I'm going to assume Aspinall woke up with, like, the flu that day or something like that, you know? I never assume somebody loses because of, like, a fluke, like they stubbed their toe on the way to the ring, the cage, and because of that their foot hurts now and they can't put weight on it. I never assume people lose for that reason. If Cyril Gahn beat Aspinall, I would 100% assume that, like, Aspinall pulled his dick or something like that. You know, his butthole was too stretched out that day or something like that. It affected his performance. You know, Scott will be debating Destiny. I will. That's it, dude. I'm yellow as fuck. We're in the piss zone. I gotta get a I'm gonna see if I can't I'm gonna see if I can't fix that real quick. But yeah, but before I do that though, I will say that like if I had to if you gave me the ability to like grow or shrink into any size and then try to make a UFC run, I would make myself like 6'4" and I would be a heavyweight. And like you would think, well, why wouldn't you make yourself like 6'8" then and tower over even the highest guys? I wouldn't need to. Like I genuinely would not need to, you know? A lot of the heavyweights are really overweight. They're not naturally heavyweights. They're what's his face? Derek Lewis is like 6 feet tall or something like that. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna look this up just to see. There's a lot of heavyweights that are like not nearly as tall as you would expect. Um, Derek Lewis. He's like 6'1" or something like that, I believe. Um, oh no, Derek Lewis is actually 6'3". So that Derek Lewis specifically blows my hypothesis out of the water. But you would be surprised how many heavyweights in the UFC are only like 6 foot 6'1". Like something where if they lost weight, they would be average size as like a 170 or 185 pounder, you know? But it's just dudes that don't want to lose the weight, or for some reason they just feel like they can't lose the weight or something like that, you know? That's I could there's one guy in particular. His name is Jorgen De Castro, and he actually beat Justin Tafa on his like Jorgen, and this is like a great example. I'm taller than Jorgen De Castro, right? And the reason why I'm bringing this name up is because he's a guy who was in the UFC. I think he went like 1-2 or 1-3 or something like that, and he got kicked back to the regional scene. He's from my region. I sparred with him. I won't say that I helped him get ready for the Justin Tafa fight that he KO'd Justin Tafa, but I was sparring with him while he was preparing for that, right? Um, excuse me. Um, it's funny too because he that's like a highlight reel knockout that a lot of people still remember. And I remember him telling us, he was talking to me and my coach, and he was like, the dude likes to swing like this. I'm gonna wait for him to load up. I'm just gonna throw a right hand down the middle. And that's exactly what happened. But anyway, I'm like an inch or two taller than Jorgen, if I remember correctly. And they bill him at like 6'1", but I'm only 6 feet tall. So that's another thing, is like, is Derek Lewis really 6'3", or is he like 6'1"? Are they adding a couple of inches? What's going on? What's going on? But the bottom line of what I was trying to say is, like, when it comes to the UFC heavyweight division, that's the easiest division to break into, because there's not that much like real like generation defining talent in there, you know. It's just not there, you know. But anyway, one sec. I'm gonna plug in a lamp real quick and see if I can't. Come on, baby. Huh. Why can't I fucking plug this thing in? You know what? I know what I'll do. Oh, there it is. All right. At the very least, I'm not yellow anymore, you know? At the very least, I'm not yellow. I don't know. Jeez, I don't know if over here is garish or not. You know, I'll go ahead and I'll turn it away even more, you know, just to be sure. But I'm so glad you're live, man. My girlfriend got Baker acted today. Oh, that's a 5150 in Florida. Oh, Baker acted. Okay. That's a 5150 in Florida. And just keeping my faith in God. Always good seeing you on, brother. Need some advice, man. Can't live with a crazy girl, but can't afford my rent on my own. What should I do? Yeah, that is a tough one, man. You know, like BPD, autism, depression, bipolar. I don't know, just dark triad traits. Yeah, yeah. Keeps hurting herself and calling the cops, and she gets taken away every time, and it's a liability. She calls the cops on herself. Oh boy. Whose name is the place in? If it's in your name, you're on the hook. If it's not in your name, then you're free to go whenever and wherever you want, you know? Now, like, it sucks, man. It really does, because, like, I don't know if you have parents you can move back in with, but if you do, like, you definitely should, you know? I don't know what would happen with me. Like, I have parents, but there's too many people in my household to be moving into their house in the first place. And then, to be honest with you, like, I think my parents, as soon as I got married, they were like, oh good, he's someone else's problem now. They turned what would have been my room had I needed to move back into their house into an office. You know, it's like ridiculous. But when it comes to you, right, enough about you, what about me? um when it comes to your situation, it's like it sucks being between a rock and a hard place, you know. How much money do you have? I don't look, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just saying, if you absolutely can't afford rent on your own and you have nowhere else to go, but if you have enough money to maybe drop on like an RV or something like that, like this is one of those like crazy ideas. It's like it's stupid, but I don't know. Like, I'm spitballing here, you know. Obviously my first thing that I would say is, oh well, find another place, but you just told me you can't find another place, you know. Um, excuse me. Um, yeah, family always had my back. Probably not a thing anymore. Am 34. Yeah, rent from an old landlord who was out of town usually, and I don't like the neighbors. Seeing shit is totally whack. Yeah, I mean, like, if again, like, if you are on paper as somebody who is responsible for that, then like you should talk to the landlord and be like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. If you even need to, like, you can if you're month to month, you can leave given the allotted time. Like in Massachusetts, it's 30 days. Sometimes you'll have people who are like, actually, we want 60 days notice. They'll write that into a contract. You need to give them like 60 days or something like that, which is bullshit, but whatever. We're not talking about that right now. Um, like, if you can just give them notice and dip, then do that. If you cannot do that, maybe go to the landlord. I know you say they're out of town, but like, you know, get in contact with the landlord, call him or her, and just be like, look, I'm gonna level with you. I'm in a dangerous spot right now. I need to leave for my own safety. My soon to be ex girlfriend is making me fear for my life. I apologize, but I'm gonna go. Don't be like, hey man, like, you know, like, could I just please, like, the most you're gonna do is be like, hey, can I just want to see if we can work something out. Don't be like, can I just please, like, maybe go, like, make it into a situation where you for your own safety are going to go regard, like this is what happened. I used to have another place, right? In May of this year I moved here, right? um there was another place that I was at before this, obviously, right? And the place wanted 60 days notice to leave, and then they also wanted like some sum of money or something like that in order to like leave without problems and stuff like that. It was completely predatory, right? What I did was I recorded one of my crazy ass fucking neighbors flipping the fuck out. This actually happened on stream. This was like kind of a joke that I saw people making, is that I was like the laundry room fighting championships or something like that. Um, what was I gonna say? Like the dude. I hear a fucking hair dryer just constantly in the background. It doesn't go away. And I just want to be like, shut the fuck up. I cannot stand that shit. Anyway, the story that I was trying to tell you is the story of how I was able to walk into the office and tell them we're leaving without having to deal with any of that stuff, right? In the case of my last place, what I had to do was I had to walk in there and say, look, we are in danger. We are going to leave. I didn't give them the option. There was no like, so if it's okay with you, no, it's like, I and my family, we are in danger here. Here's the proof. You can see it for yourself. We are going to leave. And as soon as the guy saw it, he was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Just give us a couple of weeks' notice, right? That's you see, I'm bungling this point, and I apologize, Mr. Tucker, Mr. Ryan Tucker. I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say. It's just that like I wanna throw so much information at you that I'm tripping myself up, right? I'm trying to give you advice as to how to handle your landlord, right? And you know your landlord better than me. I don't know your landlord at all. So you might have some kind of insight as to how exactly you think the best way to deal with them would be. But in my experience, the best thing to do is walk in and be like, hey, like, I'm in danger. It's not up to you. I'm leaving. Like, let's try and make this square so that everything works out for all of us. But regardless of what goes on, I'm afraid for my life, so I'm out of here. You know? That's like the hardest I would go. The softest I would go would be like, hey man, look, I'm in danger. I need to get out of here. I came to you to let you know what's going on, but then also to say, hey, I'd like to try and work out a deal with you so that everyone is whole, so that everyone can be made whole to the best of our ability, you know? As for what to actually do, I would say go back with your family because even if you're 34, I don't see how it's going to matter. You know, like if your family's cool, your family's cool. And like, look, I understand that they might be like, oh, 34, but when I was 34, I had my own house. Like, yeah, sure, they might be like that, but as long as they let you stay there, as long as they give you a place to stay, it's like fucking whatever, you know? That's something I had a hard time with myself, and I'm not saying you're this way, Ryan, but I had issues with like I wanted things, but I didn't want to have to deal with annoyances regarding it. Like when you go to your dad or your mom and you're like, "Mom, can I have cookies?" And she's like, "You're gonna ruin your dinner, but fine." Like that kind of attitude. I never wanted to deal with that kind of attitude. I had too big of a fucking ego. I couldn't just let it roll off my back, you know? And because of that, someone would give me attitude and I'd shoot it right back at them, or I simply would not ask for help because I didn't want to have to deal with the stank attitude, you know? But like as time has gone on, I've gotten a lot better at just being able to like be like, all right, whatever, they're gonna be a fucking bitch about it, but I'm getting what I want, so who cares? Whatever. Fuck you, you know? Like honestly, check in with your parents. Just explain, hey, like this is what's going on, you know? Other than that, it's like if you can find a rooming house, like be you'd be surprised. Like there are rooming houses around that you could probably access. I don't know. I don't. Well, that's the thing. I don't actually know that for sure in Florida. All I know is that when I got kicked out of my parents' house, I lived in a rooming house for the better part of 5 years. I only had one room. There was no bathroom. You know, we had to share communal bathrooms. That means we were shitting and showering in the same area. It wasn't like public bathroom. It was like, you know, a bathroom you would see in a house, but like you'd walk out because you got to take a shit and the bathroom closest to your room is occupied. So you got to either take the long walk down to the other one or you got to hold it and hope that nobody else jumps in before you do, you know? But like that can be, excuse me, that can be a lot better than having to live with like a crazy fucked up like girlfriend or something like that, you know? Um there's a lot more options than you might realize, you know. Either A, your ego is like getting in the way, which like when I say you, I don't mean you specifically, Ryan. But like when it comes to like things like, oh, I don't think my parents will take me back in. How do you know until you ask? You know, oh, I can't afford rent. Well, I mean, you might be looking at 1 or 2 bedroom apartments. Have you ever considered a no bathroom? You know, just someplace you can be until you get back up on your feet. You know, me personally, I spent 5 years there because I was on it. Like I was a bit of a different case. I was a bit of a strange situation. You know, I had to like get my shit together, and because of that, I spent multiple years there. You know, um, but like you could spend like a year, maybe 2 years there, maybe even like 6 months. You know, just enough time as to where you can just be like, okay, I don't have to worry about not being able to make rent. Let's get my shit together and let's try and find a better job. Let's try and go to school or get the certificate for whatever, you know. Just like, you know, you're in a precarious situation, you know. Um and when you're in that situation, it seems like there's like nothing you can do, or what you can do is like not preferable and stuff like that. And sometimes it's not, you know. But you just got to do it, you know. And you have a lot more options than you may even realize. I hope that helps, Ryan. I don't know if you're what's going on, Heath Holloway. Can you go to park in the afternoon with a coffee or tea? I don't know exactly what you mean by the to try to reach each other on a pragmatic friendship level. I don't think you see. I don't think that's an option, Hidalgo. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know, but I personally would not want to be in a situation where I have to be the one to extend a hand to my girlfriend to be like, "Hey, why don't we be nice to each other?" They don't. They just do whatever they want to do all the time. You know, not to make this into a fucking women kind of conversation, but like you got to realize that women are just who they are for the most part, and they're not going to change that much for you. They'll change for themselves, and you might tell them, "Hey, I don't like this," and they might change that thing. But you have to understand they're not changing because they're like, "Oh, he doesn't like it, so I want to be good to him." No, 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 no. Really, I'm cutting out. Are you kidding me? Apparently, I'm cutting out somehow, some way. I don't know what the deal is. The audio stream's current bit rate 0 is lower than the recommended bit rate. Okay. Wow, dude, what the fuck? That's annoying as shit. We rec Yeah, and it's giving me like some kind of suggestion or something like that. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, anywho, what I was trying to say is like women don't change for you. They change for themselves, and you might be the catalyst for that change, but they're changing for themselves first and foremost, you know. If she is doing what she's doing it because she feels that it is a way for her to get whatever she wants out of any given situation or any given person, and because of that, there's no way you're going to get her to change, you know. I understand, like, you know, it'd be really nice if we could all just sit down with a cup of coffee, you know, like, but that's not to you know, not to I'm not trying to shit on you at all, Hidalgo. I'm not trying to shit on you in any way, shape, or form. Um, because I know you mentioned something about like coffee or tea or something like that, but um like baby boomers have this fetishization of coffee and beer, right? And this partially goes into what I was talking about with the with the safe tough guy thing, where you'll have a boomer who's like, well, if somebody's messing with me, I'm gonna take them out back. I'm gonna beat the shit out of them, and then we're gonna settle it like men. We're gonna fight, and then we're gonna come back inside and we're gonna have a beer. We're gonna have a beer is what we're gonna do. You know, there was this one guy who like he was being a bitch during the activist days. He was like talking shit on Facebook. He wanted to act like he was on our side, but he anything we would do, he'd be like, it's not a good idea to do this, and it's not a good look to do that, and you really shouldn't do this. We called him out one day. We were like, you are never outside ever. You just hang around on Facebook talking shit. And he inboxed us, and he was like, so what do you say? Are you guys man enough to sit here and talk and sit down and talk about it with a beer? To sit down with a beer and talk it out? It's like, dude, fake tough guy, safe tough guy shit. There's another version of that, which is like the safe date. The like I was wondering, maybe we could get a cup of coffee. Maybe we could get a cup of coffee. I've had people say that to me. Like I've briefly alluded, sometimes not even briefly, but I've alluded to issues that I've had with like sociopaths in my time and stuff like that. And one of them is somebody who is actually like a very important person in my life. They are very important in my day-to-day life. And unfortunately, I ended up on their hook. And I'm talking to this one person who is constantly talking shit about them all the time, always, no matter what. She is fully aware that this guy is like complete and total like narcissistic sociopath, like would shoot us all in the head if it meant that he got to like do whatever it was that he wanted to do. He would not care one bit, and her answer to me when I was talking to her about an issue that I was having with this guy, where he took my money away, by the way. I've told this story once or twice. He was being inappropriate. I told him, hey, knock that off. He didn't like that. He took my money away. He was somebody who pays me, I talked to her about that, and she was like, well, why don't you guys like meet for a cup of coffee on like neutral ground and talk it out? And it's like, are you fucking stupid bitch? Shut your fucking mouth, you idiot. You fucking dumb cunt. Shut the fuck up. It's like, holy shit, man. Just the way boomers are. Like, why don't you just talk it all over? Just say you don't know what to do. Just say it's a shitty situation and you should probably move on. Just say that, But like overall, and again, Hidalgo, I'm not trying to come at you over this. It's just like the whole cup of coffee or tea thing. It reminded me of every time a shithead baby boomer was like, oh, well, you beat them up and then you buy them a beer. It's you settle it by sitting down and talking it out like men. It's like holy fuck. You look visibly angry. What's going on? Yeah, because thinking about fucking boomers like that makes me mad, dude. It makes me angry. It genuinely makes me angry because it makes me. We're talking about somebody else here, right? We're talking about somebody else here. I'm not gonna start talking about my life and everything, but it makes me angry because I think about all of the time I wasted on people that were not good for me, that were like pieces of shit, that were siphoning my lifeblood, and now I'm 30 years old and I have nothing to show for it. Specifically like because I know there's gonna be somebody who's like, dude, he's talking about fucking fish tank. He's talking about salmon jet. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about, again, like those fucking people, like the sociopath and the enabler and stuff like that. But to finally bring it back to what I was talking about with like talking it out with this woman, it's not a good idea because it is never. Like you're not gonna get anybody to change, especially not a woman, because you sit down and you're like, hey, I don't like this, right? But then in addition to that, this is somebody who hurts themselves and threatens to hurt themselves. And I forget if it was let's see here. Let's read. Keeps hurting herself and calling the cops, and she gets taken away every time, and it's a liability. Yeah, that's not somebody you sit down and talk things out with. That is somebody who's in crisis, and they need a kind of help that you cannot give them. uh, and you need to get away from them ASAP. You know, you need to. Again, I don't know if you're still here, Ryan. You might be gone. You haven't commented in a while, but like my advice overall would be check with your parents, see what you can get from them. Even if it's just like some extra money to be able to buy something that's going to help you, like an RV or something like that. You could park it in a Walmart parking lot and then take it to work with you. You know, Walmart parking lot overnight and then take it to work with you. It's better than being with a suicidal bitch who you never know if she's gonna turn that on you one day. You know, or like I said, if your parents will not take you in, maybe look for something that you would not otherwise consider, like a room in a house. Not even a rooming house, but a room in a house. If somebody you think you could get down with is like looking to rent out a room, maybe you do that. Maybe you look for an actual rooming house, a boarding house is another word for it. That might not be a bad idea. Uh, just like any there's a verse in the Bible. I forget exactly which verse it is, but it said that you are better off in the desert than in a house with a scornful woman, an angry and scornful woman. You know, um, Scott has a rogues gallery like Batman. What's a rogues gallery? Wait, I don't know what a rogues gallery is. Yeah, man, get away from her. Get away from her before she Lorena Bobbitt's you. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Um, how many months left on the lease? That's a good question too. Although I think it would be better in a situation like that. I 100% think it would be so much better to just fucking hightail it, dude. To just get the hell out of there. It would be so much better, you know. Um, but yeah. Hold on one sec. I'm eating a piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy. Rogues gallery just means villains. I see, I see. Okay. Man. Like, sorry, one sec. True that. Thanks, guys, catching up. She just called me from the asylum. Well, I mean, I hope she's doing okay. You know, I wouldn't wish anything bad on her, but it seems to me like she's probably just the kind of person who, when she doesn't get what she wants, she starts like, no, I want to die. You know, one of those people, one of the classics. What do you, what do you mean I can't have a dog? I want to die. You know, it's like holy fuck. But yeah, like again, I don't want to bitch about my life. Um, that's something I've done too much of over the last however many months. Um, but yeah, that anger comes from knowing that I have wasted time and that not just I have wasted time, but my time has been wasted for me, you know? Um, I remember when I was 22, 23. That's when I first started watching Sam's stuff. I started watching him during the Hyde Wars era, when he was doing self-help content and stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff that he said was stuff that I was kind of figuring out on my own as is. But every now and again, he would say something that I'd be like, oh, okay. All right. And one of those things was that when you're young, you're a time billionaire, or maybe it was trillionaire or something like that, right? And as you get older, you just have less and less and less time. And I mean, I still have a lot of time, let's knock on wood there, but um like to be um like I don't have as much time as I did originally. And then in addition to that, I don't have time to fuck around anymore. When you're in your 20s, it's real easy to feel like you have time to fuck around. When you start to enter your 30s, you have plenty of time, but it's not fuck around time anymore. It's get serious time. It's time to be like, all right, I gotta fucking go. You know? Um, so to have like to be 17 years old, to be 18 years old, and you meet somebody who's in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and they act like they want to be a mentor to you, they act like they want to help you out in a way where you're seriously going to grow, only for you, oh, about 10 years later to figure out, like, oh no, I was only ever a tool for this person. I was only ever someone who could be utilized for a purpose to this person, not somebody who they were actually genuinely trying to, like, impart wisdom and knowledge into so that he could take over one day, so that he could go out and start his own one day or anything like that. It is very, 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 very frustrating. And I say these things not because, like, it doesn't benefit me to sit here like talking about this stuff to you guys. I mean, maybe I vent a little bit, excuse me, but if I wanted to do that, I'd do it to somebody who cares. I talk about this stuff because I should be a cautionary tale, if anything. My MMA career did not pan out. A lot of that is my fault. But when I figured out everything and I started doing the right thing, the people who I thought were going to be there to support me were not there to support me. And because of that, I was doomed to fail from the start. You know, when you're at a fight and you are backstage, and on the other side of the curtain your opponent is having his hands wrapped, and there's like three or four people that are there for him right that second to talk to him, take his mind off of how stressful it is, make sure he's prepared, he's got the game plan down pat, he's all good, and you're sitting there alone calling your coach because he isn't there yet, and your coach is acting like you're being the asshole because you're like, yo, where the fuck are you, dude? Like, that should have been my sign that I was not in an environment that was conducive to success. That should have been the sign right there. But I had a few more fights after that. Um, and it's like, man, seeing, like, it's one thing to waste your own time, it's another thing to have your time wasted for you, is what I'm trying to say overall, right? Be very careful to not allow other people to waste your time, because for one thing, you can waste your time good enough as is. You don't need other people to waste your time. You can be a dummy on your own. But when somebody else wastes your time, it is so, so bad, because a lot of the time they will try to trick you into believing that your time is not being wasted, that you're going somewhere, that you're being led in a direction that is going to be good for you. And when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, when, especially if you came from an environment like I did, where there was a lot of anger, and you were just trying to find somebody who would be nice to you for once, it's real easy for a sociopath like that to sink their hooks into you, you know. Um, and that's where that anger comes from, is looking back at the last 10 years of my life and realizing, like, oh, it's not even that I'm a failure necessarily. It's that I was doomed to fail because the people that were supposed to be helping me towards that success were jacking me off, you know? And it's like, what a shame, man. It's such a fucking shame, you know? Think you can take Ricky Berwick in a fight? I don't know. Ricky looks tough, you know? I bet he throws himself off. I bet if he threw himself off of that chair at your legs, there's a lot of dead weight that's going into that. He might like snap something. You know, like you might snap a leg or something like that. Your leg, you know. I have a good Catholic family. I think you're right, Scott. Gonna talk to my siblings that got cribs or my mother. Hell yeah, man. You know, just be like, I don't want to sound like an asshole, or I don't want to sound presumptuous or something like that by saying this, but just like make yourself small when you're there. You know, make yourself small and like try and be helpful. You know, like try and almost be a pleasure to have living there. You know. Um, I appreciate all this advice so much. Don't want to take up the stream time. Thanks. I mean, hey man, we're just chilling. We're just talking about whatever, Ryan. You know. Anybody else got something they want to talk about? Shit, you know. Um, anytime someone says "fuck around," I instantly think of Freddy, dude. Fucking Freddy, man. Holy shit. I don't like, you know, with the Freddy and Betty thing. Like, I kept my mouth shut because I keep my mouth shut about everything. You know, I don't think it's like I don't think it's a good thing for me to be getting involved in every drama that's in the fish tank sphere and stuff like that, you know. Excuse me. Um, you know, I don't think me saying anything is going to add or even take away from anything, but um with that, it's like that was a weird one because I don't know, man. Like I feel like Freddie might be the kind of guy to do that sort of thing. I feel like Freddie and his friend definitely could have got fucking drunk and been like, "Oh, this bitch." Like one of those guys who like he reminds me of one of those dudes who's like a performative scumbag where he's like, "Ah, dude, I don't care. I'll hit a woman." Like literally like that type of shit. It was it's really weird, you know. And whenever I think of Freddy now, I don't all I do is sit around and think about old Fred, the Fredster is what I do all day every day. Now, but like when I do think about Freddy, I just automatically go back to that, and I'm just like, man, I couldn't imagine being that cucked, you know? Like you know that dignity that I was talking about that everyone should have or that everyone has the ability to attain, right? Part of that dignity for white people is not giving in to that, aha, I'm gonna be the quirky white boy. He. I have black friends. I'm the quirky white boy in my group of black friends. He. That's. It's important that you don't like give in to that. You know, you don't become a fucking white minstrel or anything like that. Um, you don't want to be Tim Walls in that commercial with Kamala back when the thing with the stuff you know what I'm talking about the election you don't want to be Tim Waltz back when the election was going on. He was like, well, we have white people tacos at my house, no seasoning at all. And Kamala was like, what white people tacos? What is that? Like mayonnaise? Like don't you cannot allow yourself to be that, you know? Even if you're like, oh, Black Lives do matter, haha, yeah, like you 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 got to keep a dignity about yourself. And it seems like Freddie just gave that dignity up and he became like the hipster sleaze quirked up white friend and stuff like that who's like proud to have black friends. And because of that, when somebody says like a slur or when somebody is racist, he gets even more angry than his black friends do, and he reacts even worse than his black friends do and stuff like that. Like you cannot be that person, you know. That's like I refuse to be the white boy who knows his place, you know, because that's what it is a lot of the time with the with like shit like that, whether it's talking about certain slurs or if it's talking about other shit. It's like I'm not gonna allow somebody to be like because that's what the N word is, right? Um, great topic of conversation here, but we're just shooting the shit. That's what the N word is. It's like if I'm not going to say the N word, it's going to be because I want to be kind to everybody, and I know that it might make somebody uncomfortable, and because of that, I'd rather not make people uncomfortable, right? It's not that I can't. It's not that I won't. It's not that I am unable to. or anything like that. It's that I choose not to because I'm choosing to be the best person that I can be, not to be like Reddit about it, but I'm trying to be considerate of other people's feelings. I am taking the high road, etc., etc. Right? Like, I'm not gonna let some black person be like, "Yeah, you ain't allowed to say it," because there's a know your place boy kind of messaging to that, you know. And I'm not gonna allow myself to fall into that. And the way this plays into the Freddy thing is that that's what Freddy is like. Not only is he afraid to say it because he doesn't want to get called certain names or get hurt and beat up and stuff like that, and he's proud to be Mr. Quirked Up, I have black friends, white boy. But he uh, I saw something weird on the on the screen for a second. I was like, "Oh, what was that?" But it's not just that. It's that he is like he is a happy slave. He's like, "I know my place, and I'm gonna remind all these other white people that they better know their place." Like that's what it is with Freddy, you know. And that's why, like, I talked a little bit of shit during the season, right? I talk shit about everybody during the seasons, right? I even talk shit about Binks. Binks thought that I didn't like her. Binks thought I like didn't like her or something like that. I think somebody told Binks that I didn't like her, and it's because I was talking shit about her during season 3. But like that's just what Fish Tank is. You talk mean shit about people. Like the shit that gets said about some of these people, like it is what it is, you know. I don't mean it when I say it. And as soon as they're out of the tank, it's like, aha, that was fun. Anyway, moving on. This is a person. Um but like Freddy's one of those guys who I'm just like, I don't know if I have any interest in like really having to be around that guy. If I'm just being honest about it, you know. Um can I get a 5 second rundown of what we're talking about? We're talking about when Freddy decided he wanted to like show out for his black friend, and he apparently started like beating up Betty for saying the N word or something like that, you know? Um, I like what you said about boomers having to really fuck up their lives to fail during the period they came of age a while back. Oh yeah, 100%, you know? I was thinking about it the other day too, right? Like, but before I talk about this, because this is actually something I've been thinking about, and it's been ticking me off a little bit. Where I'm just one sec. I'm gonna skip over that. I'm gonna go to Dylan's comment where he says, Freddy is just a chameleon. At least when he's drunk. When he was on Fish Tank, he was saying all kinds of racist stuff, but when he's around black guys, he gets uncontrollably angry at racism. Yeah, he just seems like kind of a mess, you know. And like just like with Bert, it's like I don't want anything bad for Bert. I hope that Bert is okay. I hope that he does okay for himself. I hope that whatever issues he has going on, I hope he's able to get to the bottom of those, and you know, just keep on pushing, keep on moving forward in a way that is going to be good for him in the world. And I feel the same way about Freddy. It's just like in his current iteration, I'm just like I don't know. I feel like he would be a male Letty. Here's the thing, right? I don't hate Letty. I never hated Letty. I never disliked her even necessarily. But if we're being honest here, Letty and I are the kinds of people that if we're around each other for too long, we will end up at each other's throats because she has a bit of a thing where she is kind of like she wants to be like a Canadian Dasha from Red Scare, right? Just a little bit. At least back during season 1 she definitely was. I don't know how much she's changed since then regarding that kind of thing, but um and me, I'm like the exact opposite of that. So naturally, that's gonna happen if we're around each other for too long. I feel like that's what would happen with Freddy. Is I'd be in a situation where I just have to be like, you really fucking think that? That's stupid. What are you talking about, dude? Really? Like that's the thing with Freddy that I feel like would happen. You know, I don't know what he's up to now. I hope he's doing all right. Like I said, I just don't know if it would be even a good idea for me to be around the dude like that, you know. But anyway, uh, I like what you said about boomers having to really fuck up their lives to fail during the period they came of age a while back. Oh yeah, 100%. You know, yeah, it's like the best economy ever, and this is what I was gonna fuck. Mm. I just remembered I forgot something in my car that's really important, but I'm like falling apart right now. My mind is going in like five different places at once. I know what I'm saying. I know what I want to say. It's just that like as I'm trying to start this point that I'm talking about, I'm like, oh wait, I gotta remember this. Oh, and I forgot that. And da da da. Anyway, anywho, um, yeah, something else that I find interesting and like really annoying is the kind of music that you see from the boomer generation, specifically the late boomer generation. You have Springsteen, you have Bon Jovi and stuff like that. And I mean, it's good music. I love Bruce Springsteen, right? I love Bon Jovi, two really, really good musicians, really, really good acts. But it's really annoying listening to their songs when you know what they're all about and stuff like that. Specifically, when it comes to Bon Jovi, I'm talking about "Living on a Prayer." Obviously, amazing song. Love the hell out of it. I listen to it a lot at the gym and stuff like that because 80s rock. Even though they're usually talking about like fucking and doing drugs and stuff like that, for some reason people just don't seem to mind, as opposed to like hip hop where they mind. Um, it's because I can explain that later. I can explain that reasoning later. But um, I listen to "Living on a Prayer," right, and it's like the opening lines are like Johnny used to work on the docks. Union's been on strike. He's down on his luck. It's tough. Let's see. Let's see. I'm curious, right? Gina works a diner all day, working for a man. She brings home her bread full of. Uh, I'm just curious what year "Living on a Prayer" came out, right? We got. Oh shit! Damn it. Um, see this is what. Look, you're just gonna have to trust me, okay? You're just gonna have to trust me, okay? "Living on a Prayer" came out in 1986. My dad would have been 26 years old. My mom would have been 21 years old. Um, when did, let's say, I mean, it's just fucking Bruce Springsteen. He was in the 80s, right? He was in the 80s, maybe even the 70s, right? Um, I'm just curious. Again, 1964 to 1972 is his early career. Okay. Um, initial struggle from 72 to 74, 75, 1983, Born to Run. Okay. So apparently in that time frame, Born to Run, right? Oh yeah, Born to Run was released in August of 1975. It proved to be a breakthrough album that catapulted Springsteen to worldwide fame. A lot of this music, the point that I'm trying to make, right, and I'm making it sort of badly, and I apologize. If you listen to all of the music from the boomer generation, or a lot of the music from the boomer generation, you will notice that a lot of it has to do with like, I can't find a job. I'm out of a job. I can't make rent. Oh, dude, I work so much, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, man, I, yeah, sure, you fucking work. Yeah, you work that much. Yeah, you can't find a job and you work too much. Yeah, that's what it is. It's crazy listening to the baby boomers try and talk about like it's it's crazy. It's crazy listening to boomer music where it talks like they're in the middle of the Great Depression or something like that. You know? Fucking living on a prayer, talking like the guy is not bringing home enough to make rent, or they're not bringing home enough to make rent. A strike, a strike. I've been on strike before. The strike ended in like a week and a half. I get it. I get it. Not every strike is the same. You know, you can have strikes that last a while. I get it. Totally, I understand. But like, it's just, man, these people, they thought they had it tough, is what I'm trying to say. They thought they had it tough. Where all this music about like, and the union and the working man is getting shit on. It's like, dude, get the fuck out of here. I could not I could not imagine my wife and I could not afford rent together where we live right now. I'm pretty sure if we were able to afford rent, we would be eating ramen every day. We have to rely on the other people that we live with right now. It's just, the point I'm trying to make is like, it was so easy to survive back then, and even the boomers thought they had it tough. Where like they're listening to Springsteen, and Springsteen's talking about like, and the boss actually expects me to show up and work. Oh, poor me. I actually have to work when I'm at work. Oh, that's awful. It's like I'm so tired of hearing that shit. You know, like look it up. Look up Springsteen lyrics. Look up the lyrics for "Living on a Prayer." You know, it's all like, hey, times are tough, and we're having to slug it out every day. Is what we're having to do. It's like people are buying homes back then for 100 grand or less, and I'm supposed to believe that they're like, they got it tough. They're just scraping by. They're just struggling, man. Oh, dude, it's like, you got to be kidding me. You know. Boomers think their world was tougher because their boss would smack them sometimes. Yeah, I wish their bosses would have smacked the fuck out of them. I wish, you know. They think their world is tougher because they don't understand any, like, they don't have a frame of reference. Like, if we had the economy the boomers did, as much as we hate to admit it, we would probably be the same way. We would probably they'd probably I would be this era's Bruce Springsteen, writing songs about how hard it is in the world, you know? In the day we sweated out on the streets of a runaway American dream. Like, the 19 calling 1975 America a runaway American dream. Are you fucking, you fucking idiot. Holy fuck, man. Calling 1975 United States of America a runaway American dream. Are you crazy? Holy fuck, man. Holy shit. But that's what I'm trying to say, man. Is like, people really thought it was bad back then. People thought it was bad back then. People thought they had it tough. And it's because the boomers had no frame of reference, is what it was, you know? Their their parents' generation, right? I don't know if you call it the silent generation or the GI generation. I feel like I've heard a couple of different ways to describe it, you know? But the generation that was in World War II, as well as the parents of the generation that was in World War II, they survived the Great Depression, right? They went from the roaring 20s into the Great Depression. My grandfather was born in 1926, and his dad died a year after he was born. Maybe not even a year. I think it might have been like literally a few weeks before his first birthday, right? So my grandfather never knew his dad, and in 4 years, the Great Depression was going to hit. My grandfather's childhood was just poverty. That's it. That's all. That's it. I don't know if he had a stepdad. I would assume if he did, we would have figured out about that one. We would have learned about that one. I think he just had a mom. I think that's all it was, you know? Um, and it's just like, wow, like, the grit, to survive that and then go off to World War II. He was in the Navy, and then to come back. It's like he's the one who should be singing the Springsteen songs. His generation should be singing the Springsteen songs. But the generation after them, which was the boomer generation, which is what many of our parents were a part of, they didn't have that. All they ever knew was success. Even now all they know is success, because even though the economy is not good, even though the economy is like trash, and I don't know if and how it's going to get any better, and even if it does get better, it's only going to get like nominally better. You're not going to get like 1975 prices again or anything like that. They still own everything anyway. They have all they have all the fucking property, so they're going to be fine anyway. You know, um, it's just like, it's like I said, if we were in a if we were like them, if we had the best economy that ever existed in the history of the world, and that was what we were born into, we had no clue, we had no frame of reference or understanding of what actually came before, we would be the exact same. We would be the like exactly the fucking same. So on one hand it's like, okay, can you even really blame them 100%? But on the other hand it's like, yeah, you can. You definitely can. You definitely can. All my grandparents were in ghettos and camps and shit. I think my grandmother liked Doris Day. Ah man, Doris Day. I don't know who that is. I mean, the only person I have the only time I've ever heard that name was in We Didn't Start the Fire. You know? Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray. Um there's better boomer made music from that period. I like Billy Bragg and Tears for Fears a bit. Yeah, Tears for Fears is okay. You know, I like I go on an 80s kick every few years and I just listen to like the 80s were, and I talked about this on the Fish Tank website like a year ago at this point, man. Where's the fucking time go, man? But like a year ago, I talked about it on the Fish Tank site where I listened to a bunch of 80s music with you guys, and I just talked about like it was definitely a better time and people had fun, and there was like it was okay to be happy back then. You're like not allowed to be happy today. If you're happy, if you're just like chill, if you're just cool, if you're happy, people hate you for it. And it gets frustrating. Like I see some things that people have said about me. I see things that people continue to say about me, and it bothers me because it's incorrect, and I have a bit of an ego, and because of that, I wanna correct people when I feel that they're wrong about me. But like another thing that I saw people say about me is that I lack self awareness, right? And those people are just fucking stupid, right? For one thing, when I'm telling a joke, I know I'm telling a joke. When I'm saying something outrageous, I know I'm saying something outrageous. I'm doing that and saying that because it's meant to be funny. And if there's a situation where I'm angry and you find that funny, well, then okay. It's not like I don't know that I'm angry and I don't know that somebody could find that funny, right? But it gets frustrating because I try my best to be as like kind to people, as nice and as courteous to people as I possibly can. So like when I'm in a room with people and I feel that they're trying to like take advantage of me by like making a joke at my expense or something like that, especially one of those low key, like I'm making a joke right to his face and he doesn't even know. It's like, no, I'm fully aware. I'm just too nice of a guy to actually fucking like embarrass you in front of everybody. You know? I don't find it prudent to constantly be on guard all the time, like ready to proverbially swing on somebody just because they out of nowhere decided they were gonna like flip and be like go from chill to like you should fucking kill yourself. you know um like that's weird, and I do that. I try to be that way because I don't want to give in to the cynicism of the current year, of the current era. And that cynicism started in the 90s and it has lasted all the way up till now. And I don't know if it's gonna go away. I feel like if it was gonna go away, it would go away sometime around now or within the next 5 years. But I'm tired of people being unable to just be like okay with each other. There's always got to be somebody, and maybe it's just the environment that I was in. I was surrounded by content creators for the last few years of my life. Maybe that's what it was. maybe, I don't know, but like I don't want to I don't like that a lot of the world is cynical in that way, where like they're looking for a way to feel like they're on top, like they are the one who mogs. You know, I am the one who mogs. I'm the alpha of this situation. Dude, that guy's so stupid. He doesn't even know that I'm making a joke. You know? That's like really annoying and foolish, and I'm tired of that kind of behavior. And I think the internet is partially what allowed that to fester in the way that it did. And I'm looking forward to the day where people are like, yo, I'm kind of tired of being a fucking ironic, like I'm using irony, but I am an unironic pussy. Like I'm tired of that. I'm tired of being that way. I'm just gonna be myself. I'm just gonna be like chill. I'm gonna be kind to people. I'm not gonna constantly be looking for a way that I can dig at somebody to try and like elevate myself, you know? I've never been someone who wants to elevate myself on the back of somebody else. If I get there first, I want to help you there. If you get there first, I want you to help me to get there quicker. You know, like that's how I've always been. But K Sarah. What's that mean? Um, Sorry, just looking around. Anyway, I did see this is important. I did see this is important talking about church shootings and stuff like that. I'm gonna read that in a second. I just feel like I feel like it's one of those things. I started in one place and I ended in another. I'm just tired of like everything. Like you have two. It's funny because you have two kinds of boomer music actually. You have the early boomer where their music was like Beach Boys, like wouldn't it be nice if we were older, like that type of shit. Gonna have fun, fun, fun till the daddy takes the T-bird away. It's literally just like, haha, yeah, we're teeny boppers. Let's go down to the sody shop. We'll share an. I'm gonna share an egg cream with my best gal, and then we'll go down to the beach and we'll play some volleyball and we'll surf. It was just like super happy, fun time shit. And then the later boomers who still had one of the best economies to ever exist in the history of the world, where like times are tough, man. I gotta work. I gotta actually go to work all day. I gotta I gotta work 8 hours. Fucking there's a song, beautiful song. You definitely should look it up. You a million percent should look it up. It's called Boston Rose. It's by the Wolf Tones. Beautiful song, brings tears to the eyes, my eyes specifically. One of the opening lines of that is, "And my life is as it was before. I work 8 hours a day." And I'm just like, am I supposed to feel bad for you, man? Oh, poor you having to work 8 hours and only 8 hours. Oh, I couldn't imagine how tough that is. Couldn't imagine how awful that is. Me, I'm one of the lucky ones. I get to work 10 to 12 hours a day combined between my job and fucking the other place that I have to be at. You know? I don't have time to do anything else. It's sun up, sun down. I'm out doing shit that I don't want to have to do, you know? Um but it's like I'm sick of hearing that music. I love the music. It's really really good music. I'm just sick. It's like I took the red pill. I took the red pill on boomer music, and I wish I could go back to the blue pill. You know, it's like fuck, man, damn it. Post irony and cynicism feeds off of sincerity. Exactly. Like you're it's a wish to not feel like you are the idiot. There's a saying in poker that if you don't know who the idiot is, it's you. If you don't know who the sucker at the table is, it's you. And that's really what it is that nobody wants to feel like they're the sucker. Like people are needlessly and pointlessly turning every interaction into some kind of weird competition. And if you're not competing, well, then they identify that and they're like, hey, well, actually, this guy's a fucking idiot. And it's like, no, I just don't think it's worth it to put in that effort to constantly be trying to fuck with everybody around me. Not only is it not worth the effort, I don't want to be mean to people like that. You know, I don't think it's a very good thing to do. Whether you're a Christian or not, I just don't think it's a good thing to do. You know, I don't think that brooding leftism, like maybe brooding isn't the term. I don't think the faux niceness of leftism is good either. Like leftists fetishize community and they fetishize being nice to their neighbors and stuff like that, even though they are too afraid to order a pizza and they can't stand anybody who looks at them for more than like a half a second. Like they start having homicidal ideation about somebody who looks at them for more than 2 seconds because it gets their anxiety going, you know? Like I'm not saying be like the faux nice friendly neighborhood redditor type guy. Hey friendo, yeah, happy to help. Like don't be that guy. Be a genuine person. Be as kind as you can be to people who are around you, even if they are not wholly deserving of it. You know, that's where I have a hard time. Is like it's hard for me to be kind to somebody who does not deserve it in the moment, you know, and that's something that I have to work on. I have to try my best to do, you know. When somebody is being ridiculous, it's hard for me to not be like, "Hey, fuckhead," you know. But yeah. You still watching Sopranos? Actually, it's on my TV right now. I just paused it. There's yeah, it's after Vito's son takes a shit in the shower. Literally, like I'm looking at my TV right now. There's Tony looking disgusted, and the subtitles because I watch with subtitles because you know my ESL wife watches with me. It says no, he took a shit in the shower. That is what is. Hold on, I'm gonna take a picture of this. That really is a beautiful song, though. Boston Rose. I would highly recommend you guys look it up. Really is just a great song. There it is. There it is. Right there. Goodbye, my Boston beauty. Farewell, my Boston Rose. I'll wait for you. I'll think of you. No threat to you I'll pose. All right. But yeah, so this is important to mention something that I saw that I kind of skipped over that I wanted to go back to. Yo, Scott, I was talking to a friend about that church shooter last month. What was the name of that satanic cult that you were talking about? And Zach actually answered. It was 09A. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it was 09A. Like the thing, like at this point, I got to be honest with you, it wouldn't like I think 09A is kind of dead on a certain level. Like I think you're getting to a point where you're gonna start having, if you haven't already, you're just gonna start having like it's like the way a skinhead group might have some kind of affinity for Hitler. It's not like they are the National Socialist Party of excuse me, of Germany or anything like that. But you know, they have an affinity for him. Like, at what point does it become something a little bit different, even if it is kind of on the same track on some level? You know, it makes me. Hold on one sec. I hit a button and now I'm nervous. Uh, yeah, you know, I'm gonna bring this over here actually because I would rather. There we go. Anyway, yeah, it makes me wonder what's going on with that, you know. Um, it's crazy. You know that is actually I'm not saying that like irony and cynicism is like one of the reasons why. Well, it kind of is. I'm not saying that's the sole reason why something like 764 because that's the specific group and there's offshoots of it and stuff like that, or if there's not offshoots then there's sort of groups that are kind of similar to it, whether it's copycats or groups that started like alongside them or something like that. um that comes from that cynicism, and there's a saying, right? Hurt people, and it is true, and that is a lot of what goes on in these situations is you know, like I was having a conversation with a friend of mine years ago. He's a good dude. He was a Catholic, and he was one of the reasons why, like, when I when I started getting back into Christianity, I kind of was like, yeah, maybe I should start getting back into Catholicism, but um, we were talking about it one day, and I asked the question. I was like, I'm always fascinated by like people who do that. It makes me wonder why. And he said, well, it's because a lot of people want to feel powerful, and they like the feeling of terror. They like the weirded out feeling somebody gets from seeing them with like a pentagram or some other thing like that. It's almost like a more advanced and a more extreme version of that, where it's just like somebody wants to feel as though they have power, and they're feeding off of your energy. They're feeding off of your um reaction and stuff like that, if that makes sense. And it's like it's it's just crazy to see how far that kind of shit will go. I mean, like I don't know, like a pedo ring like that and a terror ring like that is not something new. Those things have always kind of existed in one form or another. But like I just feel like that obviously because of the way the internet is, like it allows people to kind of get together a little bit easier. But on top of that, I feel that like just the way we have progressed as a society has definitely had an effect, you know. I'm trying to work my way through this thought right now. So if it seems a little like ethereal, if it seems a little malformed, I apologize. But like I do think that that cynicism does play into shit like that, where it ends up being the seed, where it's like, oh, I want this person, or I want people to fear me, so I'll become something that is so heinous, you know. I don't know. One moment. I'm just checking Twitter real quick. I heard I didn't just hear it. I saw the clip. I guess Letty is in India with Sam Pepper, and Sam took some Indian girl's eye out. It was like a young Indian like child or something like that, and they were shooting fireworks at each other, and he absolutely fucking nailed her. That's pretty fucking insane. Hope that girl's alright. Also hope Letty stays safe in India. You know. Sorry, I'm trying to trying to get situated here. We got 30 minutes left until the 2 hour mark, and I got to be honest with you guys. It's a chill stream, so we're just kind of doing whatever. I can obviously grab some video games and play them. There's one in fact, there's a game that I want to play. There's a game that I want to play that I have to pull it up. Yes. Oh yeah, shit. Almost forgot about that too. There's a game I want to play. It's like a 1990s Civil War game or something like that. And you guys know that I'm into. The thing is, I couldn't say that I'm really into the Civil War is the issue, right? Because if you ask me about like what was going on say like, the like out west, like I couldn't tell you anything about what was going on with like Tennessee or anything like that. Um I couldn't tell you about any naval battles. Really, all I know about is the battles that my ancestor took part in. And I would love to delve more into the Civil War as a whole, including the rest of the Peninsular Campaign. And then like, the Maryland campaign and stuff like that. It would be really cool to be able to do that. But I'm still at a point where like I'm just trying to exhaust any and all information that I can find about my ancestor who was in those battles. Um but like in this game, for one thing, I'm not going to lie, I kind of want to try some retro games. Games that like at first glance I would be like, "Nah, that's old and that probably sucks," right? I felt that way about Fallout, Fallout 2. I felt that way about Morrowind. I felt that way about Fallout Tactics, but I loved all those games. I'm just so focused on The Sopranos. I'm on season 6, and I think I have like 4 or 5 more episodes. So I'm almost done with The Sopranos. I've just been so focused on playing The Sopranos, I haven't beaten Morrowind yet. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to be able to do so. Um, Excuse me, geez, but what was I gonna say? Yeah, I want to try some of those older games. I want to see some games that are made with love. Like another one of the things I'm thinking about is trying Vampire Bloodlines, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, I believe it was called. I figure it's another Tim Kaine game, and people have told me that it's like really, really good. So I figure I should definitely, you know, I should definitely go for it. I should go for it for sure. Um, and then there's another one where I forget exactly what it's even called, but I have it up here. Civil War Generals 2, and it's got Savage's Station in it. I'm gonna have to see about Civil War Generals 1 if I can. That'd be nice. Um, because Savage's Station is the favorite. It's my favorite battle that my ancestor was in because it was a rear guard action to hold off uh what's it called? To hold off the Confederates from overrunning the entirety of the Union Army, you know? And I mean, don't get me wrong, like I want it to be an epic battle, so because of that, I'm going to like embellish, or I'm gonna lionize what the battle was to a certain extent. But the elements are there where Robert E. Lee's army was chasing down the Army of the Potomac. The Second Corps stayed behind to hold them off so that the rest of the army could get away. They held the Confederates off, and then they withdrew so that the army could fight another day. That was like a really great thing to be able to see that my ancestor took a part in. Excuse me. I would love to I would love to play through like a video game version of that, even if it's like 1990s like battle chess tier shit. It'd just be fun. Um, but yeah, like I want to try a few different like kinds of video games and stuff like that. That'll be really nice. It'll be really nice. But I feel like I was going to talk about something else too, but I forget exactly what I was going to talk about regarding that. Um, Oh yeah, the other thing I was going to talk about, I'm annoyed because I'm trying to. My ancestor came from Nashua, New Hampshire. He actually came from Ireland, but he settled in Nashua, New Hampshire, where he was a cabinet maker, and I figure it'd probably be a good idea to go to their historical society to try and find any information that I can about him on there. And like they gave me a website where I can do research requests, and they said or not they said, but the website simply does not allow me to submit the request. When I hit submit, it just does not allow me to. So I'm gonna have to print out a page. I'm gonna have to fill it out. I'm gonna have to send it through the snail mail to Nashua, New Hampshire, and then I'm gonna have to wait for them to get fucking around to it, and then they'll send me the shit. Anyway, but yeah, Zach is saying, no, that was definitely a scammer. I don't think anyone lost an eye. Dion Sandals says, really? I never lost. I heard, excuse me. I heard she lost both eyes. And then this is important, says, I would never go to India. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of places I would go to. There's not many places that I would not go to. I don't think I would go to India. I don't think that's a good idea, you know. And you can say what you want about like, oh, the Indian hate got to you. It's like, yeah, it did. It kind of fucking did, honestly. Like there, if there is enough of that going on there, like I have never seen a part of India that looks nice. I have never seen a part of India that looks clean. I've watched Bollywood movies just for the fuck of it. Even in the movies, they can't have like a clean, like, this does not look fucked up and disgusting area. They just can't. They just don't. You know, it's so insane. You know? Um But yeah, I mean, regardless of who lost what, you know, I hope the chick that may have been hit with the firework is okay. That would be nice. You know, be nice if nobody lost anything. I only want to visit New Zealand and Scotland. Yeah, I mean, I want to visit Ireland, Italy, and then I got to visit Brazil. I thought Thailand for a while, and I mean, I'm sure that would be cool. But the thing is, I'm not a nightlife kind of guy. Like Thailand's a kind. I mean, Brazil is definitely a place like this too. But like, I feel like Thailand is literally only a place you would visit if you want to go clubbing and like fuck some lady boys and stuff like that. Um, Even if you're not into lady boys, it's like you're gonna go there and you're gonna be like, all right, cool, let's go to the club, haha, yeah. Then it's a very good vacation spot for somebody who still goes to bars and clubs and stuff like that. And you know, I'm just it's that's just not me. I'm not that kind of guy who's gonna do that. You know. Scott, what about Amsterdam? Amsterdam, that's in the Netherlands, right? I mean, yeah, like why not? You know, like I'm not like, I know Amsterdam for a long time was the place you would go for weed and mushrooms and stuff like that. I'm not a weed and mushrooms kind of guy, but I'd go to Amsterdam just for the fuck of it. Oh, and prostitutes too. But I'd go to Amsterdam just for the fuck of it. Especially if it's in Holland, like I think it is. Oh no, the Netherlands, fuck. You know, I get the Netherlands and I get Holland mixed up a little bit. Dutch kickboxing comes from the Netherlands, the Dutch, right? And I would love to go train that. That's one of the things that I'm looking forward to when I go to Brazil is being able to train in Brazil. You know, I've talked about how I want to go to a luta livre place that I've found, and they actually have a couple of guys in the UFC that train out of there. It'd be cool to go there and learn a bit of a different style, a different approach towards grappling. Um, oh, excuse me. It'd be nice to go to Holland. Holland, what the fuck? The Netherlands, excuse me. It'd be nice to go to the Netherlands and get a little bit of training in with like, you know, Dutch kickboxers, because those are some of the best in the world, you know, and they have a style that actually benefits a Westerner as well, you know. You don't want to train Muay Thai. I made a whole video about this. It's like 4 or 5 minutes long. If you want to check it out, I think I titled it like "Stop Doing Muay Thai" or something like that. Um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I titled it like "Stop Doing Muay Thai," and it was basically just all about like Muay Thai was created by people who are like 5'3", you know. The tallest they get is like 5'7", you know. And they fight how they are built. So if you're not built like a 5'7", 135-pound dude with a small frame, you should probably not be fighting like a Muay Thai guy would fight, you know? And then in addition to that, Muay Thai, this is something I should have included in the video as well, but I didn't. Muay Thai is a very specific art. It's judged a certain way, and it is fought a certain way. And because of that, you are not going to see the most realistic combat, if we're just being honest here, you know. There's a real like there's realistic and there's unrealistic combat. Unrealistic combat can work in realistic combat. And I'm making this analogy up on the fly, like literally right now. But unrealistic combat can work in realistic combat, but it's not exactly it's not primed for it. It's not the best suited for it. It's not exactly the way that you would want to fight somebody if you didn't have to, you know? A good example of this is Floyd Mayweather. Like I've talked about this before. If I was in a bar fight, if it was like me and like one pro fighter against like a whole crowd, like the crowd was like hostile. They weren't exactly coming at us, but it was one of those classic like bar fight things where one guy gets punched and then he turns around and punches another guy, and soon the whole bar is just in a melee, right? I would not want Floyd Mayweather watching my back, because what's he gonna do? He's gonna be in his Philly shell. He's gonna find a corner and he's gonna wait to counter strike somebody. He's gonna try and hit a pull trap on someone who's trying to hit him with a pool cue or something. Like, no, I would literally rather take somebody that Floyd Mayweather beat than Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather beat these guys in a boxing match, which is unrealistic combat. Um, does that mean that Floyd Mayweather is completely and totally like that dude couldn't fucking fight if he was outside of the ring? No, of course not. Floyd Mayweather can still fight, obviously. Obviously he can. But the point that I'm making is that what Floyd Mayweather does is not it's not dude, the word it's not best suited for a situation where you have to seriously hurt somebody in as little time as possible so that they can't keep trying to hurt you, you know? For that, you need someone who swings with reckless abandon. You need conviction. You need hard and heavy hands, you know? If it makes sense what I'm trying to say. If it makes sense what I'm trying to say. I would like to see more of the US though. Still haven't been to California. You know what? Like that's one thing I'm like I have a bit of a wanderlust thing going on right now. I've been to here's everywhere I've been to in my life, right? I've been to Rhode Island, obviously, Massachusetts, I lived there, New Hampshire, Connecticut, never Vermont or Maine. I've passed through those states, I believe, but I've never actually been to Vermont or Maine to just like be there. I've been to Canada, specifically Niagara Falls. I have been to Western New York. Um, a couple of times actually. Western New York is beautiful. I love it there. I've been to DC. I've been to Baltimore. But like lately, I went to Salem over the weekend, and I'm just like, yo, where can we go next? Where can we go next, man? You know, I've been to Florida too. I just remembered, like, I don't know where in the United States specifically I would want to go to. You know, um, like I guess Texas would be on that list, but I'm not like, oh, dude, we gotta go to fucking Texas, dude. I'm not that interested in Texas. Same thing with Florida. Like, yeah, I'd go again, I guess, but I'm not like, dude, we gotta fucking do it. You know, I kind of, I just want to like, I want to go up north to like the northern part of New York, or I want to go to Maine or like Vermont or something like that. You know, um, Western New York is awesome. Lived there for a semester. Did you go to Olean? Did you go to the college in Olean? That's where I was one of the times. Nice little mountain college town. Really nice. I liked it a lot, you know. If here's the thing, like I've lived around snow for 30 years and it's gotten better as time has gone on. I remember when I was younger, um when I was real young, the snowbanks would be like 3 or 4 feet over my head. Like we could climb up on the snowbanks like we were climbing up hills and stuff like that. And I'm not talking about like, oh, they pushed all the snow into a bank. I mean like literally the side of the road. We could be like in the middle of the road and we could climb up the side of the road like we were climbing a hill, you know? Like I remember that. And even as I got older, like obviously I get taller, but like the snow is like up to my hips and shit like that. If I'm standing on the street, it's like I look over and I couldn't just walk. I would have to like, if a car or a plow came, I would have had to dive on to the snowbank, you know? It has actually gotten better over the last 10 years. I think the last crazy ass snowstorm that we had was in 2015. We have obviously had snow since then, but I can remember, and it wasn't just one storm, it was multiple storms. That was like like the last really bad winter we've had in terms of a ton of snow. I remember it was June and there were still snowbanks pile like snow as high as mountains as buildings in some cases. Like that's how bad that winter was. Since then, we've gotten off pretty easy. But I'm not I'm not I'm not trying to fucking I'm really not trying to be around snow like that. So that's why even though I loved Western New York, I simply could not live there. I would love to live in like one of the mountain towns. Cuba, New York is beautiful. You know, Belfast, New York is beautiful. Olean, beautiful. You know, I loved those places. They were just so nice to be around. I got some. Oh yeah. Shit. Man, I feel bad. I feel bad. It sucks having somebody downstairs because you're like, oh, you know, I uh I got this bad Larry right here. I found this at an antique shop. That's a cool thing about rural places. If you go to an antique shop around here, it sucks. It just fucking sucks. Like you got nothing. You got some furniture. Maybe you got some trading cards, maybe potentially. You got some like you got stupid shit that nobody's really that interested in. But like if you're into coins or stuff like that, you go to like a town that's like way off the beaten path, like something in New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, something in the western part of New York, you know. You do something like that and you find the coolest shit at their antique shops. I don't know what it is, you know. I'm trying to. Oh no, I also got a bill as well. I got a bill when I was out there. That's why I. That's why I can't find it in here. I got a Yugoslavian banknote, which I don't know exactly where it is right now. I know the general area where I keep it, but I don't feel like having to root around too much and stuff like that. That's making me nervous. That's making me nervous. Last thing I want to do is have more shit go. But yeah, Forge Lloyd Scott, you're looking healthy, bro. Thanks, man. I don't. I disagree though. I disagree. I from here up, I look okay, but as soon as I stand up, you see how much weight I'm carrying in my midsection, and it's just like, man, that fucking sucks, bro. Shit, man. Unless you were being facetious, that is, Mr. Lloyd. In which case, you bastard. But yeah, I mean, like, it sucks because whenever I've lost a significant amount of weight, it's always come from a 6 or 8 week fight camp. Um, which it's like, man, you know, I'm not gonna put myself through one of those just for the sake of it, just for weight loss. Like that's ridiculous. A fight camp like that is really unhealthy for you. You're overworking your body. You know, you don't want to overwork your body like that. So to put myself through that for no reason is annoying. So having to lose weight slowly instead of quickly, like I always have, is like that sucks, man. Especially because I put on so much weight before the summer as well, you know. But hey, it is what it is. It is. It is. It is what it is. There we go. All right. And then you guys want to see what other coins I have? I started collecting coins because I found some coins once, and I was like, dude, these must be worth money. No, none of these coins that I have are worth money. No, none of them. Not a single one. Um, yes, in 1865 2 cent piece. They had a 2 cent piece. You know, um, no, man. Last time I checked into the stream, you were heavier, looking lean. Well, thank you, man. You know, when I lose weight, I lose it from the top down, meaning like the top is I lose weight first, you know, and then like everything below just goes, you know, more and more, you know. Um, so that's probably why. I have an 1859 Indian head penny. I bought it for $6. It's fucking $6. I'll show you the other side too. Bada bing, bada boom. Um, I yes. I don't know if that's actual gold. I would assume it's not, but it looks cool. A quarter that has a gold, whatever it's called, trim. Um, 1945 PXF. Is this a quarter or is this a half dollar? It's a 1945 half dollar is what this is. Interesting. And then I'll go ahead and I'll show you guys the other side. It's got the eagle. Um, Trying to see what else I want to show you guys first. Yeah, I found an Indian. Hold on, I found an Indian head penny, right? Or not a penny. I found a buffalo nickel once, right? Not this one particularly, but um, this is actually what I was talking about with that whole. I found some rare money once, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna be fucking rich. And then I had to, I figured out, oh no, I'm not gonna be rich. Actually, these are pretty much worthless, you know. Um, like this right here is a 1936 Buffalo nickel, as you can see, right? How much you guys think I got this for? How much you guys think I bought this thing for? I'll give you guys a second. Hey Scott, curious, what's your take on retard maxing? I think it's a good I think it's a good answer. I think it's a good answer for today's world, you know. It's better to drop out, if you will, you know. Turn on, tune in, drop out almost. That should be our version of a turn on, tune in, drop out. It should just be retard maxing. Um, $5. Any other takers? Any other guessers? I think I offered you some shekels. LOL. You can absolutely still have them if you want. I appreciate that. What I'm really interested in, I mean, I'd take shekels. You know, thank you for the offer, Zach. But if I could have any money in the world, it would be North Korean money. The thing is, I don't know of a way that I could legally get a hold of actual, like, authentic legal tender from North Korea. It would be really cool to be able to have money from there because, for one thing, I have a bit of a fascination with the country, right? But then also it's like, man, like this was in the country. This was circulated. This was circulated in the country. North Koreans, people who I will never know, they will never know me, and not just because, you know, the world is so big and stuff like that, but simply because you cannot just go there and they cannot just come here. And I have something that their hands touched. There's something about that to me that is really fascinating. But I don't know how I could get my hands on North Korean currency without having to deal with some kind of LEO at my door. You know, so you know, it is what it is. But I'm gonna tell you guys how much. I got this for 70 cents. 70 cents. I found one of these one day just like bopping around, right? Not this one in particular, but another one. Another one. And when I saw it, I was like, dude, yo, that's crazy. I heard about these things. This thing must be worth tons of money, dude. Nope. Nope. Wrong. Incorrect. Incorrect. I have some pristine wheat back pennies as well. Maybe I'll go ahead and I'll show you. I think one of them was just straight up like cleaned one day. I think somebody just straight up cleaned one of these one day, which you're not supposed to do with stuff like that. But um this isn't even the best one that I have, but here's a I don't know how well you guys can see, right? Here's a wheat back right here. And it's in like decent condition compared to a lot of the ones that you see. I had another one that was in even better condition comparatively, but these bags that I keep them in are dark, you know. I'm not gonna lie, I bought these bags because I was selling weed, and I was like, nah, dude, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to keep using sandwich bags. I don't want to keep using sandwich bags. I'm gonna do whatever you like shithead like I saw somebody sell weed in a movie once guy does, and I'm gonna put my dubs. I'm gonna put dubs in this. Um. Yes, here's one that I gotta show you. I'll show you guys like a couple more. I should have labeled these motherfuckers is what I should have did. What you gonna do though? What you gonna do? Oh yeah, in fact, here's this inside here is the buffalo nickel that I found one day. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vintage where the grapes of wrath are stored. He hath loosed the faithful lightning of his terrible swift sword. His truth is marching on. A 1943 steel penny. See, in the middle of World War II, they started making pennies out of steel because they needed the copper for bullets, specifically for like the brass casings and stuff like that. Then here's again another wheat back that is in like actually surprisingly good condition. You know, you can actually see a little bit of the sheen. I don't know how well you guys can even see these motherfuckers. You know, I collected coins and stuff when I was very young. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice collecting coins if you're into history because you know, like you get a piece of history. You know that is what it is. Ooh, this is yes. Oh wait, no. Hmm. I'm actually not sure about this one. I'm confused about this one, right? And I'll tell you why. It's steel, but it's 1955. That's not a World War II. It's a wheatback. I've always been confused about this one. I forget exactly where I found it. A lot of these I found just because like people were idiots and they would like literally I had somebody give me a $20 bill from the Great Depression. I think it was like a 1934 or something like that. They gave me like a 1934 $20 bill paying for like groceries. I had somebody buy Dutches to smoke weed with silver notes, with silverback dollar bills. Um, for those that don't know, there was a time they did the same thing with gold as well. They had gold and they had gold and they had silver notes, right? And the idea is that these were notes that were directly exchangeable for gold or silver. If you brought in a $5 silver note, you could exchange that for $5 worth of silver, you know? Um, if you had a gold $20 bill, You could bring that into a bank or wherever there happened to be some kind of like, exchange or something like that, and you could get like $20 in gold. I don't know exactly what the lore behind that is 100%, because if it was just because we were on the gold standard, it's like, well, we were on the gold standard until the 1970s. Why didn't we have 1960 gold backs? Like, why didn't every dollar bill from back then, why wasn't every dollar bill a gold back from back then? Um Trying to see if there's anything else that I'm like, oh, I should show you guys this since I happen to have this out. Um he has sounded forth the trumpet that shall never call retreat. He is sifting out the hearts of men before his judgment seat. Oh, be swift, my soul, to answer him. Be jubilant, my feet. Our God is marching on. Yeah, no, I think. Oh well, I'll show you guys this. It's a sales tax token from Alabama, from Bama, from Bama. Roll Tide, Roll Tide. But yeah, question for the old Scotty: how do you win a divorce if you know the fact the lady is cheating, but you've never seen her with another dude? That's a tough one. I don't think anyone wins in divorce, and if anybody does, it's usually the women. I think as a man, winning in a divorce is just like keeping half or more of your shit. Or more than half of your shit is really what it is. Oh, interesting. Somebody said, oh, you know what? I think I know what it is. I think I know. All right. Anyway, yeah, that's tough. I don't think there's any winning a divorce in general, but if you are talking about making off in like better than the other person as a man, I don't know if that's something that you can do. You know what I should do actually? I should add the fish tank tokens to this collection as well. I should find some of the other fish tank tokens I had and add them to the collection, but um it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. You need to take measures that are legal for you to do that will disrupt and deter or make impossible your ex's efforts to fuck your life up, but they have to be legal, okay? One thing some people out there will tell you to do. I'm telling you this because I want you to be aware that this advice is technically illegal. One thing that somebody will tell you to do that you should definitely not do is take as much of your money as you can as soon as you know she's going to divorce you and exchange it into some kind of asset that will not depreciate and that you do not by law have to declare to um like a tax man or something like that, like say silver, and then give that silver or give that asset or whatever it is to somebody you trust, your parents, your brother, your sister, a good friend of yours. Bury it in like your backyard or something like that, or maybe not your backyard because you're probably getting kicked out of your house, but like bury it somewhere that you can get to it later. um that is illegal, and you should definitely not do that kind of thing. That is hiding your assets so that they don't get seized by the completely corrupt, unlawful parallel court system that is unconstitutional and should be broken up immediately, but is not because we live in a gynocentric world. That is illegal, and you could get in trouble for that if you ever told anybody. If if you ever told anybody, because that's the only way that they would ever be able to figure out that you did that in the first place is if you told anybody. You could get in a lot of trouble for that, so definitely don't do that kind of thing, okay? um Other than that, people will say like, downsize your career. If you're working 60 hours a week, only work the 40 that you are required to be full time. Either that, or if you're the CEO of a company, step down and be a janitor or something like that. It's essentially it's a game of trying to make sure that when the judge is sitting in front of you figuring out what kind of stuff you have, what kind of assets you have, what you do for a job, all that other stuff, you're able to say, "Hey, I'm a pauper. I'm a fucking I'm a pauper. Pauper, however you say that word. I don't have any money, dude. And there's legal ways you can do that, and there's illegal ways that you definitely should not do. What I was talking about with the whole take your money, put it in silver, and hide it thing, that's illegal. I was just telling you, don't listen to anybody who tells you to do that kind of thing, because if you decided not to keep your mouth shut about it and you told somebody, which is literally the only told somebody that you shouldn't have told, which is literally the only way that you would get caught in the first place, you will get in a deep you will get in deep shit for that. So definitely don't do it because it's illegal and wrong. Okay. Um. Other than that, it's like just fucking like play games like this is something they did in The Sopranos. Go around at every divorce lawyer that you can find and have a consultation with them for like 20 to 30 minutes. That way, when your wife calls them up, if she was stupid enough to let you know she was gonna get a divorce before she got an attorney, they're not going to be able to they're not going to be able to help her, and then like I said, downgrade your job so that you're making less money, you know um but yeah, anyway, my uncle lost 800K on three wives. He cheated on all of them, to be fair. Oof, damn, that sucks. Script and subway tokens are cool too. Hell yeah, big script. No, I know what you're talking about with script. Yeah, I'd love to keep collecting. I'd love to keep collecting. It's just something where like I don't go out hunting for that kind of stuff. It's like if I happen to visit a store, I'll be like, oh, I hope they have currency there. That'd be cool. But I never wake up in the morning like, you know what I want to do? I want to hunt for old money. That's not what I do. Um, what the fuck? Oh, ever have a $2 bill? Yeah, I had a $2 bill when I was younger. I have a display with the first money my grandparents received from customers in this country. It's two separate signed silver certificates. That's pretty sick. That's really cool. Um, Asking for a friend, says Joe Butt Slasher. Yeah. Well, I hope your friend is all right, man. Um, his second wife became friends with his first wife to try and get full custody. The second wife married a lawyer, also. LOL. Yeah, yeah. Women are just heinous with it. Women are just absolutely disgusting with it. And I'm not saying that like because here's the thing, right? Alimony specifically was designed for a time that women did not have jobs. Typically, they would get married and they would become homemakers, so they couldn't provide for themselves in the way that a lot of other people could. A lot of men and women who had yet to be married and give up their careers and stuff like that. It's a myth that women got married off at like 18 years old, and because of that, they never had jobs. Plenty of women got married in their mid to late 20s and they had kids and stuff like that, like in their mid to late 20s. And before that, they had to have a job doing something that allowed them to pay rent and put food on their table and stuff like that. Plenty of women before women's liberation, feminism, came about were like living the exact lifestyle that women were claiming to want to live, but they couldn't because they were considered property or something like that. One of the biggest lies that we've ever been told, you know? Um, but like alimony was specifically for women who gave up any semblance of a career in order to be homemakers. And if there was going to be a divorce, well, then it was a situation where this woman kind of like deserved it on a certain level. She deserved to be able to have payments for a certain amount of time. But uh like if alimony is going to be a thing, it can't be a thing for women who have jobs, you know. And then in addition to that, that alimony should only be for like a couple of years maximum. It's like, hey, get on your feet, figure out what you're going to do. Either A, you're going to rise to the occasion and you're going to take care of this house all by yourself, like the strong, independent woman you are, or you're going to downsize and you have plenty of time to be able to do that. Either way, you're getting cut off in a year and a half, 2 years maximum. You're not ruining this guy's life completely and totally, you know? So like on one hand it's like, okay, I understand the idea of alimony, I don't hate the idea, but what I do hate is that women don't become mothers like they used to, they don't become homemakers like they used to. um and if they're not going to be homemakers, then there should be no such thing as alimony, and child support should not replace alimony, you know, because that's what child support is. A lot of the time you're seeing less women being awarded alimony outright, and you're seeing a lot more money go into child support, which we all know women don't spend their child support money on their fucking children most of the time. They're spending it on whatever the hell they feel like spending it on, and they'll use like a certain percentage of it on their child, you know. um Excuse me. That's why these women who marry boxers and NBA stars and shit like that, they get like 20 grand a month in child support, is because it's just alimony is all it is, you know? It's really just alimony, but under a different name, under a different concept, you know? And that it's so disgusting that they would even do that in the first place, all things considered. But um what was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? What was I gonna say? What was I going to say? Oh yeah, like it's just gross the way women are today in terms of like divorces and stuff like that, you know. And it's spurred on by scumbag lawyers who would be better off not on this earth, you know. But it's not just that the lawyers are like, no, no, you got to take him for all he can, you got to hit him where it hurts. No, 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 these women have absolutely positively no problem with doing that kind of thing, because in their mind the fact that you made them feel a little weird once, that's enough to try and completely and totally destroy you. And here we arrive at the reason why women were not allowed to have like any say in the world. You know, this is why women were not allowed to like do shit and say shit and enter the bar and hang out with the boys and stuff like that, because as soon as they do, you get weird shit, you get wackadoo shit like that, you know. um haven't catched one of these live in a while. What's up, Scott? Anything new or crazy happening lately? Not really, Bob, you know, just trying to put my life back together as I have been since the last time you popped in, you know. It's getting better, it's getting better. It's just, you know, trying to figure it all out, trying to put a little more effort into these. I have a debate stream coming up on Friday. I have to actually double check with the lady that I'm going to be streaming with. Um, I have to double check with her to make sure that she is down for the day and the time still. Um, but yeah, they try to get full custody of his kids. Made me open my eyes about women. You're right. The courts are absolutely bunk. Also, if you try to downsize, they bicker, even though you're the one making all the money while they're in debt. Haha, just had a good belly laugh from this. This is why we tune into Scott's streams. Well, thank you very much, Float. I appreciate it, you know. Yeah, we're getting closer and closer to a time where women are not just going to be allowed to do and say the things that they do. And as someone who does not want to see people get fucked with, it's going to be really, really tough, you know. But we're getting into another conversation. I actually got to get out of here. Okay, it's about that time. um Thank you guys for tuning in. All right, I appreciate it. Like I said, I might be streaming with REA tomorrow. I gotta double check with him. If not, well, whether I am or not, I'm gonna be streaming Friday night. I'm gonna be most likely doing a debate stream. Okay, with a girl about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Near and dear to my heart. I will give you more information about that as it comes up. And yeah, that's it. Appreciate you guys for showing up as usual. All right. Uh, Hope you have a good night And until next time, peace out.